Hello and welcome to Two Therapists and a Microphone. I am Dr. Harrison Davis.
And I'm Dr. Aisha Dickerson.
Two Therapists and a Microphone is a show about mental health, relationships, and social issues that personally affect you. We broadcast live every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock p.m. on the Our Black Media Network.
We are two licensed psychotherapists with decades of clinical experience, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear about the situations or dilemmas that you're going through. So please send us your questions by visiting our webpage. That's www.twotherapist.com. And then click on Ask Two Therapists at the top of the page.
Absolutely. And we're going to start a call in feature fairly soon. I am still working on that. I have to buy some new
I was like, oh,
equipment.
we are? Okay.
Yeah. That's the direction we're headed. It's just I got to buy some equipment. But today is a hot topic show where Dr. Aisha and I we choose a topic, something that may have happened recently to us, or we've observed, or even some stories from our clients. And so we got two topics today, and I'm gonna let Aisha go first to tell us about her topic.
Okay, so first, what I want to do is ask Harrison, have you had any clients contacting you about getting a letter for an emotional support animal? It's called an
Yes,
ESA letter.
yes.
Okay.
I didn't
So,
know what it was. I'm like, why do you need a letter from me? For what? To do what?
right, right. Apparently, to take your pet on airplanes, to have them in certain apartment complexes or
Yep.
houses that you're renting,
Yep.
the ESA letter makes it so that people don't have to leave their pets at home. But my understanding is that the purpose is because the pet makes you feel good. And I love pets. I've
I don't.
had a dog.
I
You
don't.
have a dog, Harrison. You don't
I don't have
love
a
the dog.
dog.
Oh, okay, okay.
My wife and daughter
Really?
have a dog. I don't have a dog. I just want to make that clear. I don't like dogs. I never had one as a child. My cousins had dogs in Alabama. I used to visit them in the summers, and they were always tied up to a tree outside. And,
That's not
they
the
were
same.
German shepherds, and all of them were named King. Every
All of
last
them.
one of them. Yeah, and they used to chase me home from school in the neighborhood I grew up in. I don't like dogs. I think they belong outside.
Even the little cute ones that you can hold and yeah, all of those. Okay, okay. So
Dog.
so there's a dog in your home, then
Yes,
is
it's a
what I'm
little
gonna
one.
say.
My daughter thinks it's cute,
I saw
but
the dog. It's cute, Harrison. It's
but when
cute.
it pees on the carpet, it ain't
Oh
cute.
no, no,
That
that's
ain't that
not
ain't
cute.
cute.
That's not cute at
And
all.
poop. Mm-mm.
No, that's not cute at all either. So I've had people contacting me about getting letters so that they can have emotional support animals, which I think, and we could talk about this more later, is appropriate when you already have a therapeutic relationship with someone. But people are reaching out to me, and from what I saw on Twitter, other therapists as well, just to say, not that I want to come to therapy, not that I want to work on any issues, but I want a letter and I was told that I could get one from a therapist. So can you write me a letter? Or can
Yeah,
I just do an assessment and maybe one session and you give me a letter?
yeah,
Now, that's not the way it works because that's not the purpose of the emotional support animal. It's not just to keep you from having to pay someone to watch your animal while you're out of town. It's because the animal is supposed to calm you down, depending on if you have certain anxiety disorders or children who are on the spectrum. Animals are helpful for them. But my other question
Mm.
is, Harrison, have you ever been on an airplane or in an office or somewhere where someone had an emotional support
That
animal?
is a very good question because I remember it was before the pandemic, flying somewhere, and somebody got on the plane with a husky. One of
A
the big
big, like
husky
wolf type
dogs.
dog. Uh huh.
It looked like a wolf to me. And they had a seat for it. It was not in a cage. It wasn't in a bag. And I was praying. Thank you, Jesus. He did not sit next to me because there is no way I'm going to ride in a plane with a dog sitting next to me, especially a big dog. I didn't want to be near a dog anyway, so I didn't understand it. And there were some people who objected to it. I thought it was weird. I thought it was strange. And I really questioned the person who brought the dog on the plane as they had to make a public announcement that it was an emotional support animal. And then people looked at each other like, what the hell is that? So, why is it on the plane? So, yes. And recently, when we flew down to Miami for the cruise, somebody had a little dog in a little bag and it was crying in the airport. And the Delta attendant had told us that told us that be glad it's a dog because someone tried to bring a turkey,
Oh, I saw
a,
that.
a live turkey on a plane, and we heard that dog cry and whimper the entire flight to Miami. So I still don't like dogs, and I really don't want to be on a plane with dogs. I'm still questioning a lot of that. But before we go forward, I want to show a video clip
Okay.
of a strange animal that people use to for emotional support. Let me just cue this up. Give me just 1 second. I should have done this earlier. And there we go. View. And let me go ahead and play that.
There are emotional support dogs and even emotional support cats. And then there's Wally.
Absolutely not.
Gator, nominated this year for America's favorite pet. A cuddle buddy and a real sweetheart. The 7-year-old alligator, described as a mild, emotional alligator who somehow gives hugs and kisses. He's nominated against bunnies, chameleons, and parrots. But for now, he's showing off, hanging with the kids on the 4th of July,
So,
relaxing in the waters this summer. His handler getting emotional.
He helps put thousands and thousands of smiles on people's faces almost every day. He comforts people when they're sad.
He doesn't know why, but this domesticated gator has never attacked or shown aggression towards anything. Wally even swimming in the neighborhood pool. Yeah, they walk him on a leash, and his favorite treat is cheese puffs. But he looks great in glasses. And if Wally looks familiar, he was the inspiration for the design of Alligator Loki on Disney+.
okay, I'm gonna stop right
But
there.
Wally's done
Up,
even
up.
more at home than he has on
Wait a
the
bit.
big screen. Wally's handler saying Wally's been a huge support during his battle with cancer.
Okay.
Wally going with his handler to radiation and has brought cheer to other patients and doctors and nurses.
So I only have one question about Wally.
Mhm.
Does he still have his teeth in his mouth? Because when that gator, not goes crazy, but when he just does what gators do, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, the gator bit." What is it's a this is not a pet that you can an animal that you can domesticate.
I agree. I must admit, the first time I saw that story, I just had no empathy for them at all. You're just doing this for some type of say exposure, or trying to get some attention or something like that. But then I just learned that the owner has cancer, and I guess I don't. Where do you find a pet alligator? And I didn't know you can take them to public places like that. So that's the story I wanted to share with you.
Well, my question would be, at what point does your need for emotional support from an animal, I'm going to say strange animal, impede on my rights?
Yes.
Because even thinking about dogs and cats, I have a child who is very allergic to cats. And
Okay.
if we're on an airplane and the same
Yep.
air is just circulating all through the air, by the end of the flight, she may have an asthma attack. I will have
Yep.
had to give her some Benadryl. There are going to be issues because you didn't want to, I don't know, take a Xanax. I hate to sound like uncaring.
Or didn't want to leave the pet at one of those places that keep the pets, and when
Hmm.
you buy the airline ticket, they ask you about food allergies because my daughter
Hmm.
has a nut allergy, but they don't ask you about animal allergies. They because no one imagined that a little furry animal was going to be on the plane. But that's a very good point.
So they might need to. So I have a cousin who's a flight attendant, and she told me this secret, and it worked for me.
What's that?
She told me about it years ago. But you can object to sitting next to someone who has a service pet animal.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. And they will have to move you if there are seats available to another seat. And I did that on the flight. I won't say what the airline is. And the only available seats were in
Wow.
first class. And I
Wow.
very much enjoyed my hour and a half in first class because I
Okay.
said, I can't sit next to this dog. I'm allergic. I mean, I don't think I'm allergic, but I mean,
Didn't matter. Didn't matter. You didn't
right,
want to sit
right.
next to it. Doesn't
I
matter.
can't. sit next to this dog, and I understand that this person has to have their dog, and I, it was, I'm a therapist. I want them to be as comfortable as possible, but I also need to be comfortable. There was no objection. The woman said, "Well, come there are some seats up here in the front. You just come on up to first class."
Was a dog in a bag or something,
It
or
was in the bag. It was a little dog. It was in the bag, and it was
the
probably going to be
steel?
slid right under the seat. But
They
if
pee, they poop.
this dog had on a diaper,
Oh,
so I guess he or she was going to, they were going to do their business in the doggy diaper.
yeah. I think I have some limitations with my empathy about it. As I had a client years ago, working with him, going through a divorce situation, and he was getting an apartment, and he wanted to take the dog with him.
Hmm.
And he asked me for one of those letters. I really honestly didn't know what it was. I had to look it up. And then I questioned him. And so luckily I knew him. We had already had a therapeutic relationship. And I questioned him about, well, why are you taking the dog? Why don't you just find another apartment complex or maybe rent a house that allows you to have pets? I didn't get this. I didn't understand the intensity on bringing a dog with him, but it was all tied to the divorce and who gets the dog, and he had to keep it and everything. So I wrote a letter. I wrote a general letter, to help with some of his anxiety and coping skills, based on the divorce and family breakup. But I just remember looking over thinking, is this real? Because we never talked about the dog. I
Right.
mere
You never heard of the dog up until that point, so the dog was maybe not that important
but I
in his
did
life.
merely suggest in the letter that the dog would be helpful in this recovery process from the breakup of his family. And that's what the client reported. So I was very careful with my words, where I'm not going to provide any assurances with it. But part of me really felt like it was a little selfish. I remember talking to him about it. Are you doing all that you can, to choose a place that will accept the dog? And why is this dog more of a priority than you choosing a place to be in the same school district as your kids? So that was my little situation with it. No one's contacted me recently about that. I guess they can pick up the vibe that I'm not a dog person. Uh, because that's going to be a long assessment. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I believe you will be fine without that dog in your dorm room.
Well, so speaking of dorm room, let me tell you in apartments what I've gathered from some of my clients. And I went online, looking, and there are websites that will allow you to do an assessment, and they'll
Yep,
give you the letter. I don't think it costs that much. The test is free, but then you have to pay to get the letter.
that's
And on
correct.
this website, Service Pets, AmericanServicePets.com, where you can
Yep,
take this test. So I'm saying that so that don't contact me if we don't already have a therapeutic relationship and you need a letter. But you could go to AmericanServicePets.com and fill out the assessment. Now, here's what the website says. Stop paying $500 to $1,000 a year in pet deposits. Here's the thing, with their service pet, you don't have to pay the pet deposit anymore because you're saying that you need the animal. So your service, so a
oh,
lot of people are, and someone told me that they wanted to be able to take their cat to this new apartment, and what they said was they couldn't afford the monthly pet fee. So they wanted the pet to be, they want a letter to say that it was a service animal.
so they're
This
circumventing the rules of
right.
the place.
The site also says without this letter, you end up paying about $200 each flight. So you don't want to pay the fee for them to take your pet on. Now, don't get me wrong. I heard that some animals have died under that plane too, but you do have to pay a fee for an airline to take your pet unless it's a service animal. So get this letter and you get a little card, and you can save money on your on the flight and on the house.
Absolutely. And we have a comment here, Alethea. People have completely distorted the use of emotional support animals. I agree. It's becoming a joke. To so many people now. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And that's what Dr. Aisha is talking about. It sounds like that website is promoting itself and its
Right.
services to help you save money, with your pet. Because
Well,
I'm
and
just,
it's sad because the truth is, I believe, and I've seen videos where dogs will come and help people, and I'm saying just dogs because I like dogs. Dogs will come and help people through
yep,
anxiety attacks.
yep,
They will
yep,
come and
hmm
they can be there with you when you feel depressed. A
yep,
pet has unconditional love,
yes.
that a human can't give you. But I mean, it can't just be I like my pet and I don't want to
But does
pay
that?
a fee.
I agree with you. The pets can help, particularly with people who love their pets and they're there for them. But do you need to take your pet on an airplane with you on your vacation or to visit a relative or friend? That's the question that I have, and that was the one that I kept asking my client years ago. But do you need to have the pet there in the apartment with you? I'm not doubting all the benefits of what that you just mentioned,
Mhm.
but shouldn't there be some limitations to that?
Again, I have to suffer because you're taking your pet on the plane. I know people who just drive because they're like, I don't want to leave my pet here,
I see that.
and I'm not going to pay that service fee for the airplane. They're not going to play those emotional support animal games. They're just going to drive. And
Yep.
then the dog can get out and use the bathroom because it's not
Yep.
just about the pet being on the plane with you. The pet can use the bathroom inside the airport. The pet You can't take the pet back outside to use the airplane once you're at the gate.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So, like I mentioned, I'm not a pet person. I'm not. I never had one. I don't care for them, but I do know how people treat their pets like they're human. Like they're a part of the family is what I hear. And I see my daughter holding our dog. It's a small dog, holding it like a baby.
Well,
You know,
I used to hold my poodle like a baby.
that
They're so
cradle it
sweet.
like a baby. And so now the dog is beginning to act like a baby. So yeah, I get some of that, but there's got to be a way that we don't irritate other individuals. And as we talked about earlier before the show, at my university, they have a emotional support animal policy where the students can actually bring the pet to school. You can stay in a dorm room with the pet. You can walk around the grounds with the pet, but you're not allowed to take them into the academic and administrative buildings. You can't take them to class with you, but you can keep them in the dorm, and that has caused some issues where those people are with the dogs. They're not happy with that. I thought they should be happy that we're allowed you to bring the pet in the dorm. You
And
know,
also make sure your dog is quiet. I don't want to hear any barking. I don't want to have to smell anything that's happening in
so
your
what?
dorm
So
room.
guess what happened? Guess what happened? One of the dogs in the dorm, residence hall, they like to call them. When the young lady opened her door, the dog ran out and
Uh-oh.
jumped on one of the other students' residents. Luckily, they were not bitten, but it certainly frightened them. So that raised a lot of questions about our policy. And luckily, I'm not on that committee because I would have shut it down.
Well, I mean, because now this student is going to have some anxiety. And so
Absolutely.
the pet that you say you need to help with your anxiety has now led to someone else having issues with anxiety. How is this equal? How's this
And you
fair?
can't function on a college campus without having your pet in your room, then maybe this isn't the best time for you to be in college. Perhaps we need to improve our coping skills so that you can go places without your pet. But I'm not on that committee. So no one asked me for my opinion, but that's what it would be. I'm just waiting on y'all to ask me.
Oh, and I also think there might need to be some limits on that for people who are allowed. Right now, there are no limits on what type of animal counts as an emotional support animal. I
Wow.
looked online and people
Wow.
have brought on airplanes alone turkeys, peacocks, a
Yep.
kangaroo. A
Wow.
kangaroo
Wow.
is not going to sit next to me. A pig,
Heard of that. Heard of that.
one of those little ponies, the little
hmm
what do they call it? What I'm
The
saying, the
miniature
little pony.
ponies.
Yes,
Yep.
the miniature ponies, monkeys,
Oh,
yeah, ducks. That's enough. All of this is too much.
I agree.
So maybe I need to get involved so I can start putting some. These are federal laws that allow this stuff too. Just FYI.
I say
So
okay. I hadn't done that much research, but yeah, but we
I had to look into it. I received two contact requests alone last month just for people asking, and by last month I mean like yesterday, and that whole month, people asking, can they do something to get an ESA letter?
Hmm.
And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But if you like to try therapy, I'm
Yep.
here for you.
Maybe we talk about it for a while, a few sessions, and then I can realize, the importance of it. But I must admit I'm a little biased, so just gonna put it out there. There's
That's
some other
honest.
there's some other things we can do besides you taking your dog to work, to school, on an airplane. There's some other things we can do, but it does sound like, I guess I'm questioning some of those people. Are they doing it for financial reasons? Or
Mhm.
they just can't stand leaving a dog in one of those doggy hotel places, because they consider it a child.
Yeah.
So those are just my personal thoughts about it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Harrison. So tell me, what's on your mind this week? What hot topic do you have
So the
for us?
thing that popped up, there's a number of things going on, but I saw on television another incident
Okay.
where a black person was arrested for simply being black, and this is a pastor, I think in the state of Alabama, and he was watering his neighbor's plants while
I
they
did
were
see that.
away. So let me just pull up just to play a minute or two of it, and then we could just comment on it just a little bit. Let me go ahead and share. Screen and tab. Here we go. And let me add it. And there we go.
Howdy. Pretty good. What you doing here, man?
I'm supposed to be here. I'm Pastor Jennings. I live across the street.
You're Pastor Jennings?
Yes, I'm looking out for their house while they gone.
Okay.
Watering their flowers.
Okay.
Black man
He don't live here. I'm not saying nothing about.
You have no right to approach me if I ain't did nothing suspicious or nothing wrong.
Listen.
Told him I'm a pastor. I pastor until I don't need. You want to lock me up? Lock me up. Lock me. I'm not showing y'all anything.
So he refused to show identification, but watch this coming up. So they decided very early on to arrest him. But here's the person who called. She verified his
Karen.
story.
There she
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he lives right there, and he would be watering their flowers. This is probably my fault.
is.
The way y'all handle this situation was totally wrong.
Well, listen.
You racial profile.
We're not racial profile.
Yes, you did.
No, sir. No, sir. We're not about that.
I told
okay?
you I was here watering the flowers.
And the charges were dismissed. Let me go ahead and stop it.
Better had a been. Oh, this
So-
woman
so-
says this was probably my fault. Maybe why would you call the police on what made you call the police on the man in the first place? Did the water hose look like a gun?
So
And you said he lived across the street. So you recognize him? I need more information.
yeah, she knew him. So the question, not only was he suspicious to the police officers for watering the yard, but the neighbor who lived down the street and knew him thought he was suspicious and called 911 while he was only watering the grass. So I just found that very revealing, about the system of racism. The police are going to show up. They're going to do what they're going to do because they see a black man. And I really didn't understand watering the grass. I didn't understand why they didn't know him in a small town.
Well, and she said that he does that. Like he watered their flowers.
But they don't know the
before.
pastors in the town. A small town.
Was
It doesn't matter the state.
Childersburg? Is that where it is? That's just a little
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. But I'm
suburb outside of
imagining-
Shelby County. I know where it is.
Okay. So none of those police officers, I believe there were 3, recognized him. Oh, he's the pastor down at the black church.
Mhm.
Something like that. So that was the thing. When these things happen, I really think about it a lot because I never know how I would respond, to those situations. And they keep popping up. I'm glad no one was shot. The man, he's an elder, he's a pastor,
It
but
doesn't appear dangerous. I mean, especially not once you see the water in his
and and
hands.
and then someone put it here.
Oh, Silicaca, is that where it was? Okay.
Okay, I don't know. Where is that? Is that north or
We,
south?
that is like
Near what?
I want to say southeast, maybe headed southeast
Southeast. Okay,
towards
not too far from the Destin area.
oh no, not that far down.
Oh,
Closer towards
near
Birmingham.
Tuskegee.
They're closer towards between Birmingham and Tuskegee, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, and of course, it took a white woman to rescue this
The
black
white woman
man.
who started the mess.
That yes, that she is the reason charges were dropped. And it took. They didn't believe him, but they believed the white woman who called 911. Just to illustrate the complexity of a racist system that is out there and some of the realities that us black folks have to deal with sometimes. So I just wanted to bring that up because those things, when I see them, I think about it a lot. Like, oh my God, what would I have done? I know one thing, I would have complied. And we had a show about that years ago with the black police
It
officer.
was. We sure did, didn't we? We
Yeah.
ought to bring them back on.
So when they ask you, when a police officer, doesn't matter, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter. When they ask you for some type of identification, it would be best to answer the questions and show it to them. And I'd rather fight them in court than to have them put handcuffs on me and haul me off to the paddy wagon, as my dad used to call it, in front of my neighbors. So that's what I
And I
wanted to
get
say
that
about
and
that.
I hear that, but like let's say you know me, Harrison, and I can say I would show ID, but if that were happening, when you're angry and you're
Yeah.
just like, I know my rights and go ahead and cuff me. Let's make this a thing then.
Yeah, I can see myself doing that. I'm not going to get loud, but when
Mm-mm.
they threaten me, we can take you to
Pastor
jail.
Jennings, Pastor
Let's go.
Jennings didn't get loud either.
He
He
sure
was
did.
just as nice and respectful the whole time.
Let's go. Let's go. What's the charge? Let's go. Let's finish this up.
Okay,
But they
be like that
stayed
woman.
long
You about
enough.
to lose your job. I'm
Yeah,
taking it
yeah.
as far as it can go, as soon as I get out.
So that was the hot topic I have. With the struggle is real. It still continues. I'm glad no one was shot or killed. In that situation. Surprised the police officers did not know the black pastor in a little small town. How many black churches do you have? Do you really know your community? That's out there. And perhaps I would have, said the same things, but show my ID. But I thought it was unfortunate that the person who called 911 was one of the neighbors down the street.
And
And
I
then,
want her to do an interview. I want her to now like seriously and deeply check her bias, consider where she went wrong and how her her she doesn't really have a story, but let's just say for lack of better terms, her story can be helpful to others like her. Other Karens out
absolutely.
there. Y'all say y'all hate that word. You don't
Yes.
want to be called Karen, but yet you do things like call the police on your neighbor for watering the flowers, and then you're like, oh, that's right, I have seen him water the
Yeah.
flowers
And he
before.
does
He
that all the
does live
time.
right there,
So
and it's
I
the middle of the day, and I'm too afraid to walk up and see who it is myself.
yeah, but they believed her. But they didn't believe him. That's
They
the
did.
other dynamic to this story. So I just wanted to show that little clip, talk about it a little bit, So what I'm putting together, and Aisha, maybe you can help me with it. We both do workshops on
Hmm.
cultural competency, implicit bias. You did one from my university, and I'm doing one with some healthcare professionals. But what I have noticed, I think we need a workshop for particularly Black folks to recover from vicarious racial trauma,
Hmm.
because these are the things that affect a lot of us, and we think about it, lingers just a little bit and makes people wonder, something beyond the police officers going into the churches telling us, the Black police officers telling us what to do if we ever stopped by a cop. I went to a couple of those meetings years ago after Trayvon Martin. But I think we need something where the Black folks can actually have some type of outlet and learn some tools to cope with this.
Yeah.
Because I do hear people talking about this on Good Morning America and then the blogs. It's re-triggering a lot of those emotions that many of us experience after Trayvon Martin and George Floyd and some Ahmaud Arbery out there. So, and even the innocent people. What's the young lady's name in Louisville, Kentucky? Breonna Taylor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's triggering a lot of that. So I want to throw that out there. See if anyone is interested in participating in that type of workshop or support group.
Thank you, Harrison.
All right. So any final words from you, Dr. Aisha?
Yes, everyone listening. I know you love your pets. And before you reach out to me or any other therapist and ask for an emotional support animal letter, try therapy. Because I
Yes.
think I can teach you how to love your pet and also how to travel without without I'll say bothering other people, messing up other folks' allergies, bringing them near your odd pet. I think there are ways that we can work on this together. So that's all. That would be my fun.
I concur. Everything you said. I just want to help you to live a good, healthy,
Because you're not
functional.
gonna sit next to me with a pig and a peacock. I mean, better yet, go and bring them. I would love to go back to first class
Yeah.
because you wanted to bring your pig on the airplane.
I see it more as an issue that you must travel with that dog than you putting the dog or pet up at some type of pet motel, so that you can go enjoy your vacation or your visit with somebody. I see that as a bigger issue, and I want to help you with that. So it's sort of the reverse. I want to help you to be more comfortable leaving your pet at home while you're away at college. That's what I want to do. So I get a little emotional with that because I don't understand that a whole lot.
And get out the house and meet people. Don't sit there with your animal, who, by the way, is not a person.
That is
In
correct.
case there's any confusion.
Yep. And also, we still got to do more to protect ourselves, not only from police officers at times, but sometimes our neighbors, that are out there who may find us suspicious and call the police on us. So I want us to continue talking about that. Glad you guys joined us this Thursday evening for Two Therapists and a Microphone. I am Dr. Harrison Davis.
And I'm Dr. Aisha Dickerson.
We will see you guys again next week, Thursday at 7:00 p.m. on the All Black Network. Oh my God, I forgot the name of it.
The Our Black Media Network.
Our Black Media Network. They changed the name at one point.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Like this.